Welcome back to the circus. I'm your co-host, the Ringmaster.
And I am your co-host, Cruella. You know, I think Cruella just had some bad PR. I honestly think she had good intentions. I don't think she was ever going to make a coat out of dogs. That's horrible. I think she saw 17 dogs living in a brownstone walk-up, and she said, I have a palatial estate. Why don't they come live with me? I really think that's it. So
for sure.
That's what I choose to believe.
A modern take on Cruella.
That's right.
I love
that's
it.
right.
Well, I love
exactly
your costume. You look fantastic.
I love your costume.
Thank you.
Great on you. Well, Ringmaster, why don't we talk about this week? We've got the shops at Bal Harbour. We went to that great exhibit for Timothy White at the Hermitage Hotel. You went to that great show at Oz. I cannot wait. The Grand Bal. I cannot wait to talk about that.
I have so much to say about that.
Oh my gosh. Artclectic is going to be fantastic to talk about. And then we both had something Saturday night. I had Once in a Blue Moon, and you had Gilda's Club Red Door Bash.
Yes.
And so really fantastic stuff. So let's kick it off with the shops at Bal Harbour, which is the most buzzed about shopping experience until Hermes opened. And, you know, we just had this beautiful night of gathering some of our Fresh Faces of Philanthropy honorees and a few of our model behavior honorees for an intimate reception. And it was so fun to really get to pause with them for a moment.
It was. Normally we're running around trying to get names and photos and jot notes, but I was really able to visit with so many of our readers and catch up with them and learn what's going on in their lives. And that was so nice to take a bit of a pause and just enjoy.
It really was. The weather could not have been better. You know, the shops at Bal Harbour have just been a great addition for this limited time that they're here. So we're excited to have that with us.
And we had a very busy Tuesday night. So before we went to the shops at Bal Harbour,
we went to a new permanent exhibit at the Hermitage Hotel with the photography of award-winning photographer Timothy White. And Timothy was there visiting with guests. Chef Jean-Georges von Gerechten, who is the chef of Druzy and Dar, was there. Both visiting with guests, very, very conversational, which was great. And I think what was wonderful was that evening they both reflected on how the hotel continues to honor a legacy of being a gathering place for visionaries. Mm-hmm. So the room was just full and the energy was great. What did you think about that?
I loved seeing the exhibits, first of all, and seeing all of the photos of people who have stayed there, from Dolly Parton, Britney Spears, Nicole Kidman, Brad Pitt. Everyone was flocked around these photographs, engaging with them, talking about them. It was a very stylish group. Did you notice that?
Yes. It was the most black I'd seen in a room in a long time. So maybe we're all wearing black to cocktail parties.
I missed the black memo, but I'll keep that in mind for next time.
Yes, exactly. No, it was great. It was a wonderful evening. Obviously, the food was fantastic, so we really enjoyed that. So that was a very busy Tuesday night. So, but then you got to see something fantastic. So I'm going to let you talk about that.
I went to Oz Arts Nashville on Thursday night to see Le Grand Bal. It is a French contemporary dance production with some hip hop elements, and it is about the dancing plague in the 1500s, where people were kind of infected with this mania, and they would dance until a lot of them would drop dead. And it's this historical phenomena that's really fascinated me for a while. But I saw opening night at Oz, and it was the first show in the U.S. before the production moves to New York City's iconic Joyce Theater. Wow. It's no longer showing in Nashville, but if you can see it in New York, I definitely recommend it. This show just pumped me with adrenaline. I went with my boyfriend Ian as my plus one, and I told him this feels like a panic attack in the best way possible. Oh, no. It's so tense and immersive. The dancers start in the audience, in the aisles. They're strategically planted, and lights shine up on them, and they get taken over by this dancing plague, and they're moving and walking towards the front. And there was one point where 4 or 5 dancers were in my row, in the middle, right in front of me, and one of the dancers was doing back bends over my legs.
Oh my gosh.
The audience really played a part in the show, and that was fascinating. But the dancers themselves are so talented with their contortions, and every movement is obviously very controlled, but they make it look uncontrollable. Like, they cannot help but move with this music that is so ominous and droning. Yeah. And then, of course, they all dance on the stage together, and their facial expressions are just as impressive as their movements. Wow. I mean, they are not only dancers, but also actors.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I was really glad that you went to that because I really also wanted to see it. But I was that evening at a fantastic local event called Artclectic that is a really important fundraiser for USN, for University School of Nashville. And it's really a celebration of art and community and education. There is everything from works of art from faculty to local artists. And they also had a headline artist, Carlos Gamez de Francisco, who works in watercolor, acrylic, and oil. And he really had these fantastically whimsical pieces that were part Baroque, and inspired by the Baroque period, but then also very modern. So you might have a woman with a fantastic powdered wig with 17 sunglasses over that wig.
Wow.
It was wonderful, and his work was just absolutely fantastic. So I know a lot of people left that evening with some fantastic pieces of art.
And inspiration, I'm sure.
Oh, so much inspiration. But truly, all of the artists represented there had stunning pieces and were, again, just a sense of community really pervaded. Strategic Hospitality did the food for that evening, so it was wonderful again. And I just really think that it was a special evening for a very, very special cause for one of our schools here in Nashville.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. So, I think that was exciting. And then Saturday night, we both had an event.
We did.
I had Once in a Blue Moon, and I have to tell you, this one has kind of a special place in my heart. As many of you know, I used to be with the Hermitage Hotel for several years, and while I was there, we started an initiative and a relationship with the Land Trust for Tennessee to have a garden at Glen Levin, and that's where Once in a Blue Moon takes place, at this beautiful historic space. And I went to my first one in 2010, so 15 years ago.
Wow.
I went to my very first Once in a Blue Moon. So, you're there and you're in this wonderful open field. There is a beautiful tent. Musicians are playing during the reception. Everyone sits down, and that is where the true celebration of preservation happens. And it was just so energetic and beautiful to see so many people there to celebrate preservation and to celebrate the work that the Land Trust has done. They are not only a local organization, they are nationally recognized for their work in preservation. They are sought after, and I think that is just such a fabulous way to preserve spaces in Nashville. After the event, the entire there are 2 bonfires, and that's great because then you can maybe warm up if you got a little chilly. But they also have a s'more station. So for that nostalgia where you want to have that wonderful sweet treat afterwards, they had it for you right there. So it was great.
That's amazing. What an important organization and a fun way to raise money for that.
Yes, absolutely. But you were at another amazing event.
I went to Gilda's Club's Red Door Bash. Such an important organization that provides free cancer support for people in Middle Tennessee. And they do this by not only facilitating community, providing different classes, but also breaking down barriers to care. And this was my first Red Door Bash, and I learned that the fundraiser raises about 25% of their annual operating budget. So it's very, very crucial. There were so many wonderful stories from survivors and also family members impacted by cancer. There was this really wonderful panel where this woman talked about how Gilda's really welcomed her ever since she walked in that red door, and that's really where she needed to be. And it was a night of fundraising, good food, community. The room was alive. There were standing ovations everywhere. And it was really empowering. It's one of those events that you really leave feeling inspired and impacted. And I was really grateful to attend.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think they do a good job. Obviously, for 5 years, I think I was on the board of Gilda's, and it was just a wonderful experience. And you really felt like you were making such a difference in people's lives at a time when they are going through these trials, and it's very special. So I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for us this week. Join us next week. We have an exciting lineup. We've got Sunday in the Park, which I did yesterday. We have Comedy for a Cause coming up. We have the Academy for Women of Achievement. and a place at the table dinner. And from a fashion perspective, we sit down with great designer Daniel Wingate and talk about his collection and his design inspiration. And he's just a delight of a human anyway. So we're really excited to sit down with him. We are Janet and Madeline, and together with you, our In Focus friends, we're in good company.
Cheers.
Cheers.